Hey everyone, it's Aisha aka Lesh of the fashion and luxury lifestyle blog LivingLesh.com, where when I say luxury, I talk about living your best life but staying on a budget. So speaking of my blog, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking today about the influencer space. And if you're an influencer or think of being an influencer, content creator, blogger, Instagrammer, or TikToker, and you're looking going, I want to work with brands. I'm going to talk to you today about working with brands and dealing with very, very complicated brands or demanding brands. Before we get into the topic, I want to make sure that you go and hit that subscribe button down below to stay connected to the LivingLesh YouTube channel so that you're here hearing all of the different tips that I'll be sharing about the influencer space, as well as getting insight into fashion, beauty, lifestyle reviews, as well as travel tips and travel vlogs, as well as soon I'll be sharing my custom home build journey that you won't want to miss. And also, if you are in the podcast, go into my description. There is a link where you can either go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify and subscribe to the That Lux Life podcast, which is all about sharing your luxury lifestyle, or living your luxury lifestyle, not sharing, but we're sharing about it, but living your luxury lifestyle, but reclaiming it as your own, defining it as your own, and still staying on budget. So I'm sharing all of those tips about taking affordable trips, dressing in luxurious looks, but staying on brand and staying within your budget. So let's get into today's topic. So the first thing you're probably thinking is, I'm a blogger, I'm an Instagrammer, I'm coming into the influencer space. How do I start working with brands? Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is start creating content. The one thing brands look for is, what does your content look like? And the first thing is that you want to do is just start getting brand work, but you're actually not doing any authentic work and just sharing your passions. You're not telling your story. That's the one thing that brands connect to is their story matching our brand? Does it connect well? What are they going to be able to produce for us? What is the photography going to look like? What's the content going to look like? What can they do? Not going to just kind of like when you go into a store, you don't go into a store and there's nothing on the shelves and they go, okay, give us your money and then we'll show you what we can do for you. You want to see what you're buying. And that's what they want to see. They want to see what they're paying for. So the first thing is just start creating content, whether it's travel content, fashion content, beauty content. Start creating that content in a variety of different mediums, because then you can sell those. If you're on Instagram, create static Instagram posts, create stories, create unique stories, create reels, create IGTVs, create the Instagram guides. Start looking at different mediums that you can create. If you're a blogger, show the different styles that you share, like whether you can include video, whether you are sharing out and doing unique photos. I mean, your photography, even whether you're Instagram blogger, you're pinning things, you want to make sure your photo work is great. If you're a YouTuber, do YouTube videos reviews so they can hear how you're going to sound on video, what your videos are going to look like, what your covers are going to look like, and how your audience is responding to that content. I'm not saying you have to create all this content and get thousands of followers. That's going to come over time. But you want to make sure that, yes, you are building your audience, but also building up your portfolio. That's where you need to start. Now, once you've gotten to that place where you're building up your portfolio, you can actually show what you're going to be creating, and you're building up a community that's engaged, they're following, and you know what? They're engaging by buying, they're engaging by commenting, they're engaging by liking, they're engaging by DMing. I mean, there are some bloggers and Instagrammers who are, don't have super high numbers, but brands are working with them because of the quality of content that they create, as well as the engagement of their community. I mean, there is an influencer who only has 20,000 followers, but she actually sells products to hundreds of thousands of people because people keep sharing and sharing and sharing. People are like, oh, you need to go watch her, and just click on that link. And even though they're not following her, they're DMing her asking for links, and then she's sharing it more, and her reach is just going beyond and beyond because people are sharing it so much that it's just like, oh, I have to go and buy this and do what she's doing. So create that content. You have to create the content. Build the community that's going to share, and then go and start connecting with brands. Now, the one thing it is, if you're sitting there waiting for a brand to reach out to you, you're going to might be waiting for a while, and you might only be seeing it very infrequently. So one thing is, start building up your pitch. And it's not an email where it says, hi, my name is so-and-so. Here's the links to my social media, and I would love to work with you. If you send an email like that, it's going to end up at the bottom of the pile. What you need to do is, yes, introduce yourself in the email very briefly. The one thing is, before we get into the rest of the email, is you want to keep your email brief and to the point. Brands and the people in the marketing are getting hundreds and hundreds of emails a day. If yours is too long, they may not read it. If it's not getting to the point and it's just fluffy, it may not get read. And if it sounds generic and like everybody else, and it just sounds very cookie cutter, they're probably not going to read that either. You want yours to stand out. So yes, introduce yourself, maybe 1 to 2 sentences, who you are and what your niche is. Second paragraph, why you love the brand, why you want to work with them, and how it fits to you. And make sure this is not a brand that you're just reaching out to. You don't follow them on Instagram. You've never used them before. You have no background about it, because they're going to be like, okay, you're saying you love us, but how do you love us if you've never actually tried our product? How do you love us if you can't even take the time to follow us? Like, what's happening? You're not engaging with us. You're not following us. We've never seen you even like a post. We've never seen you buy anything. You've never really just shared like, oh, I use this naturally, in my day-to-day. You have to actually show your proof. I've actually worked with beauty brands a lot more frequently after I've already authentically just kind of mentioned them as, here's what I use. I actually started working with Fresh Beauty just from simply mentioning them a few times in a video that I ended up doing a review on just to share, and then on my Instagram stories, just saying, here's my my skincare line, and there was a bunch of different brands, and I tagged all of them. They were like, oh, well, we know she already used us. She much love us because she's mentioned us twice. So actually, when you're sharing why you love them, make sure it's true. Don't just make it up. They will catch that. The third paragraph in that email is you want to actually share your unique pitch. And when I say unique, make sure it's unique. Most of the time, the ones that get caught where the brands come and say, I want to work with you, are ones that are a little out of the box. They're planned ahead, and they're not just you going on to their Instagram or seeing other brand collaborations that they've done and literally taking that idea and reusing it. They don't want to keep reusing ideas. Use a new idea. Don't go in there and say, I would love to work with your floral company to show how you can give flowers to your loved one on Valentine's Day. That's already normal. Show something very unique. Maybe show how you're going to take those flowers, put them into a DIY gift basket or care basket. It's going to incorporate the flowers in a unique way, or how you're going to take the flowers and make a DIY card or set up a space. Maybe you're like, I'm going to take these flowers, I'm going to place them for a in-the-house picnic and show how the landscape fits up and how those flowers are perfect for creating the atmosphere needed for Valentine's Day. Use different ideas, get creative, attach it to your story. And then you sign off, keep it to the point, just say thank you, and track the email. There are different things that you can use to track. If you head to my blog, I'm giving those tips on the tools I use to track. I don't want to get too far into it, so you can actually just go to my blog, click on the blogging category, and I have all of these blog posts about the influencer space. So even if you're not a blogger and you're just on Instagram or TikTok and you're looking for tips, I include all of these there. It's just under blogging, but it's not particular if you're only a blogger. But the next thing I'm going to talk about in this video is if you are getting brand deals and you're like, these brands are being very difficult, like how do I deal with it? That's a normal thing. You will get brands who will reach out to you and go, I want a static post from you, 5 Instagram story frames, and a pin, and I'm going to give you a $75 gift card. Keep in mind that $75 gift card, because you are taking it as compensation, you will get taxed for it. So essentially, you're working to essentially have to pay for it later. Do not just keep taking free stuff as compensation. Do not take gift cards as compensation, because you will end up paying for it in your taxes. If you are not putting it as a taxable income, if you ever get audited, somewhere along the lines, the IRS comes and just wants to look at your stuff, it can go wrong for you. Anything that you're accepting as compensation, even if it's product or gift cards, is taxable for you. But they don't have to write it off as taxes, because they're essentially giving a gift. Now you can respond and say, I would be happy to accept gifts from you, but I'm not promising any guaranteed posts. So essentially, they are just giving you a gift. It's not compensation, because they're not paying for you to do anything. If you happen to do it on your own choice, okay. But if you're actually doing a contract that says you're going to do this for this compensation, it becomes taxable. You are valuable. Your time is valuable. Your work is valuable. Demand for them to pay. And there are ways to calculate. If you're doing images, there's Getty Calculator. And it is a kind of rule of thumb that it's 1% of your following. So if you are at 100,000 followers, you're going to charge about $1,000 for an Instagram post. So on and so forth, but kind of also add in different amounts for whitelisting, for repurposing of content. Don't sign away your content. Make sure you're looking in that contract for licensing. All of those things. Again, all of the nitty gritty on that is in a blog post on the blogging channel. And also, if you're on Clubhouse, follow me on Instagram and follow me on Clubhouse. I'm constantly sharing out different times where I'm featured in panels where we're actually talking about the influencer space and how to negotiate that. I talk about with other influencers, part of my agency, as well as another group I'm a part of. So you can connect there as well. But don't be afraid to say back to brands, even if you reached out at first, that you deserve to be paid. Now, with fashion and beauty, you can usually do that. It's a little iffy with travel. I'm not a full travel influencer, but I do dabble in travel. I do have travel collaborations under my belt, but kind of keep in mind there's not a lot of money in travel collaborations. A lot of times it's just in exchange. They cover your flight and you go there and you create content and you do this, but it's kind of more of we're gifting you, and then there's not really a contract usually in place. If they reach out to you, it's different. But I think that's more of a go and talk to special travel influencers, or I'll be interviewing some travel influencers on my podcast, That Lux Life, and you can kind of listen there and they'll give those insider tips as well. But just be aware that when you have demanding brands that are demanding for you to provide all of these deliverables afterwards, you can speak up. I've even had brands who have said, oh, we're going to gift you these things. Don't worry about it. We're not expecting anything. And then after they've gifted it, I've gotten tons of emails saying, oh, we never saw you post about it. When are we going to get anything? Is there something you're going to post? Where are the analytics on your Instagram stories? And then I would send their email back, copying and pasting what they said, and said, I don't guarantee posts for gifts. And if I do post, it's on my own timeline. So for you all to demand after you said you weren't going to is a little out of the bucket. And then I always go, if you would like me to post in the next couple of weeks and provide analytics, here are my rates. Sometimes they'll go, oh, we apologize. We didn't mean to come off that way. They don't want to burn that bridge. Some of them will say, you know what? We'll pay. We didn't understand that at first. Thank you for providing your rates. Let's put something in place. Since you already have the product, let's go for it. So again, share your worth, know your worth, demand stuff back from demanding brands. Stop taking free stuff as compensation. You deserve to be paid just like everyone else deserves to be paid, especially because you can't pay your bills with gifts. When your mortgage comes, your rent comes, the utility bills comes, you can't hand them beauty products or fashion products or gift cards. You have to pay your bills as well. Don't turn your influencer business into something you're paying for out of pocket more than you're receiving. Yes, you're going to invest. That's the one thing. With any business, you're going to have to invest. But make sure you're also demanding things from brands so that they can invest in you and get a great ROI. Now, I hope those tips came across as straightforward, giving you a little insight, something short and sweet. Again, if you want more detailed behind the scene tips, I'm sharing those constantly on my blog with different blog posts, insider networks to go part of, different tips, how to start a blog, how to start an Instagram, how to grow your Instagram. It's all on my website. So just go into the bio and click on the link that takes you right to the blogging influencer section. Also follow me on Clubhouse for more panels about the topic, as well as make sure you hit that subscribe channel on this YouTube channel so that you can, join along with me. I'm losing my words because I'm so passionate about this, and I'm like, I want you all to get all of this content and know things, because I want you all to join with me and grow in success together. And don't be afraid to leave a question in the comments, and I will do my best to answer you or point you in the right direction if I don't have the answer. So I hope, again, that you found this valuable, and I'll see you next time. Bye.